Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please, at this time. My name's DJ Deke. I can't wait to be providing you guys with your dance floor music tonight. Thank you. But at this time, I'd like to introduce to you your MC for this evening, Krista Michnick.
Can everyone hear me? Hello? All right. Well, welcome. Unfortunately, we lost our son, but we're all in good company. So before we start, we have a few housekeeping things from the venue. The first one is do not clink glasses. So that's what Jenny was like. That is from the venue. So these wine glasses are probably expensive, so let's not break them. And also, Jenny and Steven are not people that are going to just kiss on command. So it'll happen throughout the night, spontaneously. Oh, I hear someone gave them $20 to kiss. So there we go. For money, they will kiss. I will also kiss for money. Okay, if you do have to smoke, obviously do it outside, but you're going to have to do it on street level, not on the patio. And the last thing is there's no glass on the dance floor. Stephen, just got that? Perfect. So then there's a few notes that I wanted to say from the bride and groom. So there are 5 disposable cameras that are sort of floating around the room. Pick them up, take candid photos throughout the night. When you are done with them, you can put them at the head table and someone else can pick them up. Please sign the guest book that I think is out in the kind of lobby area. And the last one is that if you are staying at the Holiday Inn, the shuttle back there will leave at 12:30 a.m. and 1 a.m. And that's all for right now.
Time in the afterlife, will she have my kid? Will she be my wife? everything and beyond. I give up, falling in love, crying. I'll tell you why. Might just be mine. Oh, me, oh, I can't wait. Might just be mine. Oh, me, oh, I can't wait. She might just be mine. So do you think I'll be foolish if I don't rush in? Scared to death that she might be it, that the love is real, that the shoe might fit. She might just be my everything beyond, beyond space and time in the afterlife. She have my kid, will she be my wife? She might just be my everything beyond. Yeah, she might just be mine. She might just be mine. Oh, me, oh, I can't wait. She might just be mine. Oh, me, oh, I can't wait. She might just be mine. to. I fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool done run out, I'll be giving it my best. This and nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and damn, you're free. I look into your heart and you'll find love, 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 love. Listen to the music of the moment, people dance and sing. We're just one big family, and it's our God-forsaken right to be loved. Love, 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 love. So I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Do 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 do. Want to come and scooch on over closer, dear, and I will nibble your ear. So the bubble I've been spending way too long checking my tongue in the mirror and bending over backwards just to try to see it clearer. But my breath fogged up the glass, and so I drew a new face and I laughed. I guess what I'll be saying is there ain't no better reason to rid yourself of vanities and just go with the seasons. It's what we aim to do. Our name is our virtue, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Open up your mind, see like me. Open up your plans and damn, you're free. I look into your heart and you'll find that the sky is yours. So please don't, please don't, please don't. There's no need here to complicate, 'cause our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours.
I wanna love you and treat you right. I wanna love you every day and every night. We'll be together with the roof right over our heads. We'll share the shelter of my single bed. We'll share the same room, yeah. But I'll provide a bread. It's this love, it's this love, it's this love, it's this love that I'm feeling. It's this love, it's this love, it's this love, it's this love that I'm feeling. I wanna know now.
right, everyone, if I could get your attention. All right, if I could get everyone's attention as everyone's clearing. So I said a lot of lovey-dovey stuff earlier, so now I want to tell a few stories. These stories are, I guess, sort of near the beginning of our grad school training, so several years ago. And there's a story, I've got three. The first one's about Jenny and one's about Stephen. So the first story is about Jenny, and this, I think, you might remember this differently, but I'm pretty sure we were, as a group, going to a bowling that was in a Boston Pizza. So we were all going to be having kind of dinner while we bowled. And I said I'd pick up a bunch of people, and if people know me, they know that I'm often late, and that's I say it's because I put a lot into my day, which is normally true, but so on this particular day, I was late as usual, and Jenny was texting me like, hey, like, when are you gonna be here? Are you almost here? Like, do you want me to drive? Like, I'm like, no, like, I'm almost there. Gotta get gas, almost there. And then, so I pick up Jenny, and Jenny, like, gets in the front seat, smiling, very politely says, please drive fast, I'm very hungry. And this is when I learned of what her PhD supervisor, Ellen O'Clairs, who's here, coined this term, hangry Jenny. And it's a real thing, and Jenny even kind of slipped it into her vows there, but that's a real thing. So that was one of the first big things I learned about Jenny. So my Stephen story is, I don't even know, Stephen, if you realized what happened here, but no, not because, it was I think I hit it, but so we were at a conference in Montreal in May of 2014. It was the Canadian Association for Neuroscience Conference. And we were driving home. So we'd all had some drinks on the last night. So we have one of our friends, Minu, who's driving this huge rented Yukon, and there's like 9 of us in it, and no one's talking. We're all like sleeping or listening to music. And Steve and I are in like the back of this Yukon, and I'm reading, and I look over, and I kind of double take, because Steven's reading a book that looks like a legit literature book, and I'm quite taken aback, because at this point I don't know Steven, I don't know Steven that well. He's always this kind of happy-go-lucky. I had no idea, so I'm like, Steven, what are you reading? And he's like, oh, it's this great book, blah, 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 by so-and-so, as if I'm supposed to know this author. And then he kind of launches in to the plot development and talking about protagonists and antagonists and all these literary terms that, again, I don't really know them. And he's totally into it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that you really like to read like this. And he says, oh, yeah, I majored in English before I switched into psychology. And I was like, oh, my goodness, layers to Stephen that I had no idea about. And then he politely asked, as anyone would, what are you reading? And so I kind of freeze because I'm reading a junk romance novel, the one with the bare-chested man on the front and the girl's hair is blowing in the wind and they're in this embrace. And I'm actually embarrassed, and I don't get embarrassed very often. So I'm like, oh, nothing. I shove it in my bag, just kind of. So to redeem myself, I don't even know if you even realize this, but so how embarrassed I was. But to redeem myself, I know you guys asked for money for your honeymoon, for your gifts, but what you got from Luke and I is a box full of brand new books that I have all read or are on my to-read list that are all neuroscience related, medically related, or bestseller books that are not romance novels. So you can read those on the plane or while you're on your honeymoon. So my last story is Jenny and Stephen's story. Now, Jenny and Stephen were pretty secretive, when they started kind of seeing each other, and no one really knew. They were kind of hanging out with different crowds so that they could meet up at different parties, and no one really knew what was going on. And so it was July 4th, I believe. I had a party at my parents' house in the country, kind of pool party, barbecue. And Jenny and Stephen arrived together from Toronto, which I didn't think anything of because both of their parents, live in Toronto. And so we all had a great night. A bunch of people stayed over. In the morning, we all had breakfast, and my dad was kind of sitting there talking with us all. People gradually left, and then Jenny and Stephen go to leave. We're chatting, they leave, we wave as they drive away. And then my dad says, I wonder how tall their kids are gonna be. And I'm like, Dad, they're not even dating. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, oh yeah, they're dating. And they were dating, but they were just so secretive. So, I mean, the census is still out on how tall their kids are gonna be, but hopefully we'll know that in the future. So with that, I'd like to bring up the mother of the bride, Sharon Lymer.
Jenny has this all down to a science, who's when and how long. Anyway, I don't know where she gets her organizational skills. I have no idea. But anyway, I hope you all share my joy in seeing these two, Jenny and Stephen, finally married. A 3-year engagement seemed unbelievable, but the wait has given me lots of time to spend with Stephen and his family, getting to know them. Stephen is such a warm and giving, thoughtful and easygoing person. He's a balm for Jenny. Makes me happy to see them talking, laughing, and relaxing together at the cottage and other places. Clearly, he and Jenny are best friends, as was said earlier at the service. So, I know my parents would have enjoyed meeting Stephen and getting to know him. They would have been very happy to celebrate with us here today. And so, it's with great joy that I wish the bride and groom a happy life together and welcome Stephen to the family.
All right, thank you. So next is the father and mother of the groom, Tim and Lori Daniels.
I get 2.5 minutes. I did not practice it, so check me if I'm... Stephen, I love you so much, and I'm honored to be here and sharing this special day, a day that you are starting a new life with such a beautiful, wonderful bride, Jenny. I am grateful to you, Stephen, for all that you've taught me in life. From the moment you arrived in this world, screaming and crying on a rainy, stormy day, to today, rainy, stormy again, and in the future. My life is richer, deeper, and better with you in it. Your kindness, generosity, insight, intellect, and passion are so inspiring. I am so fortunate to be a part of this journey in life with you. The world is a better place with you. From the first time that I met Jenny, I knew she was special. As time has passed, I have grown to love you, Jenny. Jenny, you have a special place in my heart. Your kindness, your compassion, your courage, and understanding truly make you a wonderful person. I take great comfort knowing that you recognize and celebrate Stephen's strengths and that you accept his weaknesses. Not very many. And I am grateful to have another female in the family. The love the love that you two have is a love to be admired and respected. I see a love that is respectful, kind, caring, and supportive of each other. You are each other's biggest fans, and yet you challenge and encourage each other to be better people. I often boast of the love that I see with you two. This is a love that I see each of you individually and as a couple growing and evolving into the best versions of yourselves. As a couple, you operate as a team it takes courage to be open, honest, and vulnerable with each other. And this is how your bond has strengthened. The two of you will do great things together. My wish for you today is a life together filled with joy, happiness, and love. Thank you, Jenny, for all that you have done to make this day. You have done a spectacular job, and you've made this day memorable for each and every single one of us here. I want to thank you, Jenny, and welcome to the family, and I'm very grateful to have you as my daughter-in-law. I'm very proud. So all the best, Stephen and Jenny.
This is how you get an extra. This is how you get an extra a minute and a half at the podium. Just a sec here. Here's your, yeah. Okay. So I'm not gonna be long either. And Lori and I decided right there who's gonna go first. So just to let you know, so Stephen, what I recall is the day you were born. It was a lot like this. It was April 24th. It was in Saskatchewan, and it was unusually warm. It was about 21, 22 degrees. It was thunderstorms outside. It was lightning. They actually had the window open in the delivery room, and you could smell the fresh air and the rain. And they had a little bit of trouble getting you out. You don't remember this? So they wrapped you up, and they sort of quickly, gave you to Lori, and then they handed you to me right away because they had a few things to do with Lori, and I'm looking down at you like this, and all I see is your mouth because it's the size of your head. like you're not crying, you're screaming. I'm thinking those tonsils are trophy size, right? I'm looking down at this esophagus, and I'm doing everything I can, like I do like this, and I'm putting you up against my side, and then back down like this, and you're screaming and hollering. It wasn't crying; it was screaming. So I don't know how long it was, but eventually I gave you back to Mom. And I was working at that time. I was in my greens. I had to go, fortunately. I walked out of there, and I thought to myself, this guy's full of piss and vinegar, and thank God for breastfeeding. Because they actually gave you to Mom because they wanted to see if, at least if you could hang on to a nipple, it'd stop you from crying. But anyway, that was a 3-day process, right? So back in those days, it was about, sorry, I'm a physician, so if I offended anybody. So back in those days, the mothers used to stay in for 3, 4, 5 days, and it was on the 3rd day. I was, again, an orthopedic resident. I was in my greens. I'd pop in and out, and Lori would always say to me, "I don't have to worry about which one is Stephen, because all I have to do is go to the nursery and go to the bed that there's a baby crying, and that'll be Stephen." So for some reason, the breastfeeding was successful, and you were satisfied that day, and you weren't crying, and Lori handed you over to me, and I'm sitting there looking at you, and you looked at me. It was the weirdest experience. And you had blue eyes when you were first born, didn't you? He had blue eyes, and you looked at me, I looked at you, and it was just like, boom. It was that immediate bonding experience. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but you can't explain it in words. It's this emotional wave that hits you, and that was it. It was just like, okay, here we go. Because up until then, I didn't know, buddy, because you were. it's like I didn't sign up for this. I mean, everybody used to say, just wait till they're 2, just wait till they're teenagers, wait till they start dating, wait till they start going to parties, then you'll have your hands full. And Philip, Stephen, I enjoyed every single phase of your development, and I still do. There were challenging moments, but I thought we did them well. And what I really appreciate about you two, and I don't know if this is genetic or if Lori and I just instilled this into you, but was the maturity of how you dealt with stressful situations. Like, there were times when I was out of control and Stephen would settle me down, and there were times when he was out of control and I would settle Stephen down. Like, it was odd. Like, at the end of the day, innately, we knew that we were in this together, that this somehow we had to get through this together. And I always used to say, I used to advertise to everyone that wanted to listen, that I would not raise my children as friends, that I'm their parent, they're my children, and that's the relationship. And the challenge I have now is I actually look at you two and I consider you my friends, which drives me to drink, because it is exactly opposite to the philosophy that I tried to to instill in you guys. But Jenny, welcome. I mean, I love you because you love my son. It's that simple, all right? And you and I think we can both agree, have grown over the years. We've shared a lot, and everyone has their story, and I think Jenny and I are learning how to listen to each other's story. And it's not hard. It's hard for Jenny because I'm right most of the time, but she's starting. No, it's my turn. Okay, it's my turn. She can't say anything, right? So, but I think we're starting to understand one another. But that was a joke, okay? Jenna, you fell in love with the kindest person that I've ever met. Stephen, when you walk into the room, you literally light it up. I don't know, like, I don't take any credit for this. Maybe it's your mom. It's partly genetic, but you know when Lori says Stephen and Jenny are going to be home this weekend, I feel better because I know that you two are going to be around, and you lighten up the room. I think everybody here has already intimated that that's what you do, and you do it without even trying. The things that you focus on, the things you choose to ignore, the way you look at people, the way you laugh, the things that you laugh at, it just is uplifting, and I think we need more of that. So, at the end of the day, I agree with Lori, and that is that I'm a better person because of both you and Philip. And man, I love watching sports with you. It's like, I wish I was with you when that basket was scored. So, I mean, many parents have asked themselves, why, I'm sure at some point, if we're all honest with ourselves, like, why did I have children, you know? And ladies and gentlemen, today, this is, for me, why I had children. I'm really happy to be sharing this moment with relatives and friends and family, and they're interchangeable. My grandparents have worked hard to make it to this moment. Rudy Daniels, Edith Daniels, and Stephen's maternal grandmother, Millie, are all here watching this event. Fortunately, they couldn't be here, but don't think this wasn't important to them. Hi, Mom. Hi, guys. Where's the cameras? I don't know. Hi, Millie. Jenny, welcome to our family. I can guarantee you it's going to be a wild and it's going to be a fun ride, but we're going to do it together, okay?
All right, so the next presentation is actually a multimedia presentation, I think. So we'll welcome the father of the bride, John Lymer.
Oh, I did. Let me see if the projector is on. One second, please. It's powering up. Yes. All right. All right, I don't want to show it quite yet. As father of the bride, Jenny generously allocated me 3 minutes, and I intend to fill. Apparently. I think she thinks that 3 minutes is not enough time for me to say very much embarrassing about her. However, it is enough time to show an embarrassing photograph. Yes, I was cute back then, wasn't I? Yes. As you can see, this picture is not embarrassing for Jenny, but it sure is for me. Look at that tracksuit I've got on there. Is that Wayne's World or what? Anyway, you can see by the date on the photograph in the lower right there, it's December 25th, 1990. This is Jenny's first Christmas Day. And as you can see, she's explaining to me in great detail the mechanics of how Santa's flying reindeer bring him around the world so he slides down the chimney and leaves presents for her under the tree. She knew all that stuff back then. It started early. But I like this picture for another reason, because it captures one of the times that Jenny and I managed to carve a little bit of quiet time out of our busy lives and just talk about stuff. And we talked about a lot of stuff over the years. When she was very young, it was easy because she just asked about everything. She wanted to know everything, and I could say pretty much anything I wanted, and it was all okay. And then as the years passed, she outgrew my lap, and we had a very alarming discussion one time, alarming for me at least. Jenny was a young teenager, and I had the job of talking to her about boys. But I had a plan. I waited till the house was quiet, everyone was out, and I just sprung it on her. Hey, Jen, do you want to talk about boys? I said boldly. I thought, being an 11 or 12-year-old girl, she would look at me with horror and say, Dad, duh, I already know about boys, and then beeline to the nearest exit. Brilliant, I thought. But no, she walked right across the room, plunked herself down on the ottoman right in front of the chair I was sitting in, looked at me straight in the eye and said, yes, let's talk about boys. I mean, what? Now I had to think of something to say about boys. Yeah. And then more recently, just a little more than 5 years ago, I think, when Jenny was working herself to the bone to finish her PhD in record time so that she could get to medical school this September instead of next September, she was physically and mentally exhausted. We found ourselves on the couch one quiet evening at Cranbrook, and she put her head on my shoulder and said, Dad, is it all going to be worth it? Yes, I said. And words cannot express how proud we are of you, of everything you've done. Yep, we talked about a lot of things over the years, and I'd say many of these are moments that I'll cherish forever, and I hope it's the same for you. And then along came Stephen. Welcome to the family, Stephen. And I'm proud and privileged to say that it's your turn now. Yes. I hope that you and Jen carve out many moments that you can just sit and quietly talk about things. And I hope it's Jenny's shoulder, or your shoulder, that Jenny will lay her head on when times are tough. And I hope that you can collect many memories that you'll cherish forever, like I have. Thank you.
simple country dress. Fly high, on me, I must confess. Always have to steal my kiss from you. 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 Write you a song and make you fall in love. I would already have you on my own. I used to ball in my tricks. I hope that you like this, but you probably won't. You think you're cooler than me. You got designer shades just to hide your face, and you wear them around like you're cooler than me. You never say hey or remember my name, and it's probably 'cause you think you're cooler than me. You got your highbrow switching your mind. You don't even look, pass by, but you don't know the way that you look. I got you all figured out. Everyone's eyes just to feel seen. So vain, probably think that the song is about you. Don't you? If I could write you a song to make you fall in love, I would already have you on my arm. I used to ball on my cheeks. I hope that you rights, but you probably won't. You think you're cool. You got designer shades just to hide your face, and you wear them around like you're cool. You never say hey or remember my name, and it's probably 'cause you think you're cooler than me.
Now don't you dare act like you don't know what's up, 'cause your nose is up, I'm approaching up.
she ran to the police station. When the papa found out, he began to shout. He started the investigation. It's against the law. It was against the law. What the mama saw, it was against the law. The mama looked down and spit on the ground every time the name gets mentioned. said, oh, if I get that boy, I'm gonna stick him in the house of detention. Well, I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going. I'm on my way. I'm taking my time, but I don't know where. We gotta roll. Say, Queen of Corona. See me and Julio down by the schoolyard. See me and Julio down by the schoolyard. They're gonna take me away, but the best let the story lead. Now when the radical preach come to get me released, we's all on the coroner's feet, and I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going, I'm on my way. I'm taking my time, but I don't know where. Say the Queen of Corona. See me and Julio down by the schoolyard. See me and Julio down by the schoolyard. See me and Julio down by the schoolyard. see the shooting star night. Will you dash the boxing? Isolation. Did you end up being conspired? I think you knew and Neptune got away. 'Cause now I'm shining bright, so bright, so bright. And I see colors in your day fade away. You make what doesn't matter fade to gray. Life is good, and that's the way it should be.
going to try and get started with the next set of speeches. If Jenny wants to sit back down. Okay, so the first speech we're going to have before dessert is from the groom's brother, Philip Daniels.
Hello? Yes. 1.5 minutes. Okay. Let's see. So I wrote a small essay. For those who don't know me, my name is Philip. I'm Stephen's brother. That was already introduced. I've had the honor of knowing Stephen for 26 years, and what a ride. Almost 27. So the first thing I asked myself is, how do I describe my brother? Ever since we were born, we've always been polar opposites. I was always calm and quiet, and Stephen was not that. Yeah. But ever since then, ever since he was born, he's never been hard to find. You can always find Stephen laughing. You can hear him a mile away. And you think to yourself, like, what the hell is so funny? Like, yeah. But if I had to describe my brother in one word, it would be gregarious, because he gets along with everyone that he meets. But as siblings, we didn't always get along. I remember a few tennis balls slung at me during street hockey. I tried to flip them off once and I got in shit, so that was like... And, we'd fight over the TV, and it was small things, but we never got into big fights. We were just different. I wanted to design video games. Stephen wanted to be Al Capone. I'd be sketching, and Stephen would be playing hockey. And I think I was dragged out to every single game you ever played when we were growing up. And the funny thing, Stephen, is I don't remember watching you play once. But I'm told he's good. But for all these days, we've always understood each other. So how do I describe my brother? He is a man with a big personality. He has a generous spirit, and it's infectious. More than that, he has a generous heart. And I know when I've needed him most, in the toughest times in my life, I could count on my brother. And he makes everyone around him stronger. He has a heart full of love, a soul full of passion. He is brave, he is kind, and I have never been more proud of him than in this moment. I asked my friends what I should say, and I've already rewritten this. There's coffee stains, everything. And they just said to remember to take the opportunity to thank your sibling for everything that they've done. And it's true, because we never get the time to thank our families, and we rarely take that opportunity. That's why I wanted to thank Mom. Mom, you are the foundation of our family. You're patient and wise, and I know I speak for Stephen and myself when I say you are our touchstone, and you always will be. Dad, you're the reason we are so determined. You are our rigor and our strength, and you have supported us in everything that we do without question. Jenny, at some point I'm supposed to welcome you into the family, but you're already family, and we're all better for meeting you. And finally, Stephen, you are the best brother I could ask for, and I did not get a choice, so. I know I don't remember looking up to you when we were small, but I sure as hell remember it now. I know I'm never alone with you in the world. For all the advice you've given me and all the times you've helped me, thank you. You are my big brother, my trailblazer. You are proof that I can make it in this crazy world. And now you're starting a life with Jenny, and there will be so much more to be thankful for. Family is the most sacred thing we have, and that's why we're here to celebrate. I know that there are only bright things in the future for you two. Although the road may not be easy, you have strength in each other. I hope every once in a while you take the time to thank each other for what you found, for the love that you share. So here's to the bride and groom. May you conquer every challenge, climb every mountain, and find strength and happiness in each other always.
All right, so next up we have Sister of the Bride and Maid of Honor, Beth Lymer.
Oh, great. I have to follow Philip. Okay, so hi, everyone. My name's Beth Lymer, and I'm the Maid of Honor, and if you can't tell, I'm Jenny's sister. People often think that Jenny and I are twins, even though we're 3 years apart, and our personalities couldn't be more different, like Stephen and Philip. Jenny is bold and confident, and she goes into things with full force, and I'm here giving this speech in front of people I know, and I'm still sweating. So Jenny has always been there for me. Even as kids, when she didn't like me, she would always help me. As we've grown up, we've gotten to know each other a lot better, and I'd go so far to say we're friends now. And Jenny will do anything to help me now. She'll drop a hat, she'll drop everything just to help me out, even when I call her in the middle of the night asking her for really weird medical advice because I'm breaking out in hives and don't know what to do. And I still ask her those questions despite her trying to cure my claustrophobia as a child by shoving me in a sleeping bag and zipping it up all the way. Yeah. She also put me on Vox in the front lawn, so that was fun. All in the name of science, I guess. But I know that if Jenny does this for me, someone that, she kind of despised for half of her life, she will definitely do anything for Stephen and their relationship. I wish I could tell a good story about how Jenny and Stephen met, but as Krista mentioned before, they were very secretive, and the truth is I don't really know how they met. See, Jenny and I were always pretty private. Jenny especially was pretty private growing up. We never really talked about boys or relationships. However, we talked about life and gave each other advice, which was really great. But one summer, she started acting really suspicious, and she was going out a lot more and not telling me where she was going or who she was going with. And so I started to get a feeling that she might be dating someone. And from her friends, I found out that she was dating someone with the last name Daniels. So I started calling him Jack Daniels, because I didn't know his name. So I'd like to say that one summer night, Jenny told me, Beth, I'm dating this guy. I'd love for you to meet him, but that's not true. I found out from her friends. I begged her to tell me if she was dating someone, and I forced her into letting me meet him at a party at Jeff Hendra's house. Hey, Jeff. So we go across the street to Jeff Hendra's house, which isn't this uncommon occurrence, and there's this guy, and he's laughing, and that's all I remember, this boisterous laugh. And he was so easygoing and lighthearted. And I met you, and you said, hi, my name's Stephen, and it went in one ear and out the other. And to me, you were always Jack Daniels. So I go home, and my mom starts probing me questions about this guy that Jenny's dating. And eventually she comes to, so what's his name? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, Jack Daniels, maybe? And this kind of went too far, because the first time that Stephen met my grandparents, they actually called him Jack. So I'm really sorry, Stephen. But you now have a little sister who is ready to annoy you at any turn. So, yes, that was the first time I met Stephen. I almost just called you Jack. I'm so sorry. So I might not have remembered his name, but I remembered his huge personality and how fun and easygoing he was, which I thought would really compliment Jenny well. In all seriousness, I'm so glad that you guys are together. You really balance each other out. You're so supportive, and you're really just perfect together. For example, Instead of being one anxious person and one very easygoing person, you're now just anxious about being too easygoing. So that's pretty good. I'm so lucky to have you as a brother-in-law, Stephen. You're so kind and supportive of both of us. And I know I can always go to you for advice and use you as a sounding board. You're so loving, warm, and fun to be around, and I'm really glad that you're part of our family. Congratulations on your marriage, and I wish you two the best in the future.
All right, and now we have the best man, Max Williams.
Okay, so I honestly didn't realize all of those speeches and the MC would be so awesome. I've got no sweet nipple stories like Tim over here. So please excuse whatever this is gonna be. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet and we can go dancing, all right? I wanna first congratulate the Daniels family. It's awesome you're accepting Jenny into your family. To the Lymers, my condolences. At least you're getting Phil, Tim, and Lori out of the deal, so that's pretty awesome. Those that don't know me, I know everyone said that. I've been Steve's friend since some playful shoving in grade 7. Shoves that led to a lifelong friendship. He may claim it developed way later because I also stabbed him with a pencil. But that's honestly hearsay. Who knows what happened? I don't. Through the years, I've shared many special moments with Steve. Constantly played music together. Blue Rodeo, Three Doors Down, Tupac, the classics. Countless sets of tennis, biked in the woods every chance we got. What I remember most, though, is every Sunday we would go to the movies. And Steve's favorite trick to prevent people from stealing his popcorn was to just load it with salt and vinegar. Like, so much salt and vinegar. And it was absolutely inedible. And believe me, I tried. I also have to acknowledge the hospitality of the Daniels during that time. Lori, Tim. I had countless sleepovers there, and somehow the police were never called. So, like, praise be to Jesus. That's pretty awesome. Jenny, I've known you since grade 3. I couldn't be more happy that he's marrying you. You're incredibly intelligent without being pretentious, compassionate and understanding, responsible and beautiful. It gives perfect balance to your relationship because while you bring all those qualities, Steve, oh man. What can you say about this guy? He's just, you're the best cuddler I've ever known. Real good. And there were 2 instances that made me almost positive that you were gonna marry her. The first one was when you told me, I'm engaged to Jenny. The wheels, they really started turning. That was crazy. The second was we were all going out in Guelph, and Jenny, you never knew this, you never noticed this, but I saw Steve sneak behind you and carefully sprinkle something on you. And he caught me looking at him. I'm like, what is that, Steve? What is that? And as he pranced away, he winked at me and said, salt and vinegar. Just like our days at the movies, so we couldn't be shared. All right. Seriously, Steve, I love you. I'm so honored to be here. This man right here, he's incredibly loyal, generous and caring. Early on, I always knew he'd be there for me. He's one of the rare friends that when you're talking to him, he actually listens to you instead of waiting for his turn to speak and talk about all the shit that's going on with him, stuff that's going on with him. You know what? Wherever you've been, you've welcomed me in, and I offer the same thing back to you, and I'm incredibly happy to say that, Jenny, you're now part of that. So thank you very much for having me here today, and everybody enjoy dancing.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. The sun again. We just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming and celebrating with us today. I have a few to go through.
How many minutes do you get?
As many as I want. First of all, thank you to Cave Spring. It's a wonderful and beautiful venue and excellent food and service. And special thanks to Sharon Kay and Lauren, who have been really helpful in making all of this happen and kind of guiding me through planning it myself. I want to say thank you to Mom, because she's been instrumental in getting kind of all the last minute details finished while I've been dealing with graduating and moving and all other life things. So thank you. Thank you to Beth and Lori. Thank you to Beth and Lori, who were very helpful for making decisions and inspiration for what things look like today. We couldn't have had the flower meeting without you guys. Krista, you are wonderful. Everyone I've talked to today. You made the ceremony what we envisioned it, and personal and lovely, and we're just really happy that you were able to speak for us today. Thank you for emceeing. I just want everyone to know Krista and I think first bonded over the fact that we both own and still own blackberries. So get off my back or she'll come at you. To our parents, you've been extremely generous in monetary ways for making today happen the way that we envisioned it. And also thank you for getting us to where we are today and making this possible. So thank you. All of our friends and family, thank you for being here, making today what we wanted with all the people that we love. You make this worth it. I just wanted to say a special shout out to two people who've come here from Scotland, my friend Amanda and Matt Barnes. In addition to most of Stephen's family and my parents that came from California and the West Coast, Vancouver and Saskatoon. So thank you all for coming to be with us today. Just a thank you to Judge Peter Lowers for marrying us, to our vendors, Threads and Blooms, for the beautiful flowers, Amy Cheshire Photography for documenting this special day, Derek and Blake from By Request Entertainment for the great music and upcoming dance party. Also Kevin and Brandon from WeStream for making this day possible to share with the grandparents that are back in Saskatoon. We would have been saddened to know that they weren't able to see this, so thank you for that. Lastly, I'd like to acknowledge the people who couldn't be here today. My grandparents, as my mom mentioned, Stephen's grandparents who are luckily able to watch, and also Stephen's grandfather. We miss them terribly and are saddened that they weren't here today with us, but we know they would have been smiling down on us wherever they are. Thank you to everyone again for making this possible, and Stephen has some stuff.
One second. Thank you, thank you. All right, so thanks everybody so much. You guys all mean so much to me and Jenny, and it's so great to have you all here. So I'm just gonna give a little spiel before I play for you guys, but as all of you know, I'm doing my PhD in neuroscience, and what you may not know is that it's not always the most romantic thing to date a neuroscientist. So for instance, people talk about love, and I'm like, okay, I understand the concept, but like, what does love really mean? Like, how could you operationally define it? How would you test it? Like, what are you guys talking about? But I'm not gonna pretend that I know what love is. I study rats, so it's beyond my expertise. But there is one moment that I'll remember for as long as I live. So I was walking down McGilvery Street. So that's a street that, for those of you who don't know, it connects where I work on campus with the rest of the university. And I was walking down the street, and I was humming a tune in my head, as I often do. Well, it wasn't just in my head, but... So I was humming a tune, and I was thinking about Jenny, and I was thinking about how much she means to me. And it's hard to put into words, but something just clicked. It was like a switch went off, and it's hard to describe. And the only way I can really put it into words is through music, and this is the song that was playing at the moment that I fell in love with you, Jenny. This is Crazy Love by Van Morrison. Feel her heartbeat from 1,000 miles. Heaven's open. Time she smiles, and when I come to her, that's where I belong. Run into her like a river song. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. Fine sense of humor when I'm feeling low down. And when I come to her, it's when the sun goes down. Take away my troubles, take away my pain. Take away my heartache in the night like a thief. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. And I need her in the daytime. And I need her in the night. I wanna throw my arms around her, kiss and hug her, kiss and hug her tight. 'Cause when I'm returning from so far away, she give me some sweet loving, brighten up my day. And it makes me righteous, you know, it makes me whole. Yeah, it makes me mellow down into my soul. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. band one more song. Thank you. All right, so the next song doesn't have as much of an introduction, but this is an original song that I wrote for Jenny, and it's called Jenny's Song. Before I met you, I was a clown. You put my feet onto the ground. Gave me something to hold on to. Now I'm a puppy off his leash, sniffing flowers on the beach. Love is strong, it will go on. You tell the truth, I never lie. Please forgive me when I'm high on loving you. That's all I ever wanna do. And when 10 years pass, I hope this feeling lasts. I hope you're by my side with a brand new baby and a 4-wheel drive. I wanna get down on one knee and kiss you softly by the tree. Take from that whatever you may please.
the dance floor for their first dance as bride and groom.
You look so wonderful in your dress. I love your hair like that. The way it falls on the side of your neck, down your shoulders and back. We are surrounded by all of these lies and people that talk too much. You got the kind of look in your eyes as if no one knows anything but us. Should this be the last thing I see, I want you to know it's enough for me. 'Cause all that you are is all that I'll ever need. I'm so in love, so in love, so in love, so in love. You look so beautiful in this light, your silhouette over me. The way it brings out the blue in your eyes is the Tenerife Sea. And all of the voices surrounding us here, they just fade out when you take a breath. Just say the word and now we'll disappear into the wilderness. Should this be the last thing I see, I want you to know it's enough for me. 'Cause all that you are is all that I'll ever need. I'm so in love, so in love, so in love, so in love.
Jenny, you can stay there. And if John Lymer can join for the father-daughter dance.
May the good Lord be with you down every
we need Steven and Lori Daniels for the mother-daughter dance. So we're gonna have 2 songs. The first song, Steven and his mom are gonna dance to, and the second song, everyone can join on the dance floor.
Don't tell me I'm wrong, 'cause I've been watching every move that you make. Aren't you still in your makeup and heels? Trouble for the man that you take. Every time you walk in the room, I couldn't ever be sure of a smile. You were never